Hey everyone, welcome back. And oh my gosh, you guys are going wild in the comments tonight. So we'll get into all the stories that we have to cover. Obviously, the big one here is selling Bitfarms, right? I'll get into all that. We'll also talk about Cipher possibly buying 3 sites that are going to be not valued, but have a potential for about 1.5 gigawatts of power there. Marathon getting a credit line of 200 million as well. But the big one is we're going to talk about Bitfarms here, but we'll take a look at the miners as well, see how they did today. They actually did pretty good today, considering. Bitcoin was up as well. We'll talk about all that, but you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for intent only. Please do your own research, and then full disclosure down below that. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And here's what we got going on with Bitcoin. We'll get into that and the miners as well, and we'll get into the stories that I really want to talk about. But Bitcoin today, nonetheless, actually had a really good day today, considering where it was. I mean, we had a high today at 67,944, just below our kind of like this. I drew this line a while back. This was kind of, I don't know what to call this line, but this is kind of our resistance line here, it seems like. Right, it's been trending downward, so we need to get above this resistance line. And I talked about this yesterday as well, where we need to get above it, and I thought we might get... we might touch it, get above it in the next couple of days. I didn't expect it to happen today, on Tuesday, where we came really, really close to it, almost touched it there, and we fell below it here. So that's our resistance line. We need to get above that going forward, but Bitcoin was as low as 64,778. So we had a swing of about, about $3,000 on Bitcoin here today. And it actually closed up at 67,056. So it was still a really good day, all things considering. It's up a little bit here in the new day for Wednesday, which is good. And the miners, for the most part, I wouldn't say for the most part, it's kind of like half and half here. Somewhere up, somewhere down. But we had a couple that were doing pretty good here throughout the day, even with Bitcoin going down in value. We had Digital was up nicely today, 8.21%. That is based on, because of their recent acquisition of the 4 megawatt Quebec's, was it Quebec? I think it's Quebec. Quebec site that they bought there for HPC AI purposes and pipeline of growth beyond that as well. Cipher was up a little bit as well, 1.39. Cleanspark was up 3.89. It was up almost like 7%, 8% on the day here, but it came down as Bitcoin price was coming down as well. So that one's been doing really well. Digihost was flat. IREN was also up nicely today. It was up 2.34. It was up like 7% at the top here, I think, towards the day. So those have been performing really well here recently. Riot was up just a little bit, 0.34, and then Wolf was up 2.67%. And the other miners were just down a little bit here. Mawson, I think, was like the biggest loser here on the day, was down 6.25. Everybody else was down like 1%, 2%, 3, 4%, something like that. So it was definitely a different atmosphere for the miners, at least, with Bitcoin still being up. But Bitcoin coming down throughout the afternoon hours didn't help the miners, and they ended up in the red, a lot of these guys here. But yeah, that's it on that one. If we look at over here, if we look at the Bitcoin monthly chart here, or table, whatever you want to call this, we can see that Bitcoin is now up 6% on the month of October. So we are seeing an Uptober here, which is great to see. And right, this is when we normally have like the elections as well coming up here. So if we look at 2020, we were up 27% in 2020. In 2016, we were up 14%. So I expect even more gains here in the month of October than we are currently at. And we're halfway through basically October as it is right now. So if we get to 12, 18% up on October, I think that would be good. If we get above that, that's all bonus at that point for me. So things are looking pretty good here for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. But there is one that is dragging us down here, right? The one that, as you guys know, I'm invested heavily into Cleanspark, IREN, as well as Bitfarms, and then a little bit into CORZ. But if we look at Bitfarms here, which is obviously the main topic of this stream here, is I've been hearing a lot about Bitfarms and their poor performance, which I agree. I wholeheartedly agree that the performance here on the stock has been, you could say, almost atrocious here. But why is that happening? If we look at the fundamentals of the company here, we can see that they are actually doing pretty good, considering they should be valued much higher, in my opinion, at least, from where they are right now. The only thing that's kind of holding them back right now is maybe the positive news on hash rate growth recently, which we know that they're supposed to be getting, approximately, I think it's 2 exahash added to their Stronghold facility that they haven't bought yet, but they're partnering with them with the hosting agreement there, right? That should be coming in this month as well. And then the T21 miners that they got from Bitmain that had the bed. Oh gosh, what is that? Not the gel. It's for the adhering to the chips to cool the chips. That was bad on those. So they're supposed to get new shipments of that as well. That's supposed to add another 1 to 1.5 exahash on top of that. So we should have about like 3 to 3.5 exahash of growth here in the month of October. But that notwithstanding, we also have some bad news here. The bad news that we do have here is that the former co-founder of Bitfarms has been selling shares recently, and he's been selling quite a bit here recently as well. If we look at this today, he sold 500,000 shares, valued approximately almost 939,000 on that, and he sold also back here on 10/7, 600,000 shares, on 10/4, 1 million shares, and then on 9/24 he sold 400,000 shares. So he sold a total of about 2.5 million shares. I don't know how much left he has, and he might be just a little grumpy about being voted off the board and everything else. So he's just taking it on Bitfarms right now, and that's causing the stock to kind of go down in price a little bit. I think also that the trading algorithms are picking up on this as well, and whenever they see that as a bad sign. So then you have the selling pressure happening onto it as well on top of it. So this is a kind of compounding issue that we're seeing here right now. I think once this is done and over with, things will reverse. But I will say that I am not thrilled with the performance of the shares right now at Bitfarms. And my thought on it is, at least right now, is I'm going to give them a chance. The chance is for them to possibly do much better going forward. And I think the Bitfarms, their PR team, needs to do much better. If they did install the 10,000, I think it was T21s or 10,000 S21s, whatever they were getting, put into Stronghold, they should have reported on that was done already, because that's a nice big bump here in hash rate for them. They need to be basically more proactive with investors here, because investors are seeing the stocks going down. They're behind on their hash rate where they're supposed to be here for a couple months now. So that's leading to sell pressure on it. And, I completely understand you guys on this part of the things. Bitfarms had lofty goals for this year, right? They're still trying to get to 21 exahash, which I believe that is still on the table. And the only reason I believe that is because of recent interviews with Ben. He has stated that a lot of their growth is going to be happening in November and December as well. We should see also really good growth here in October if they get the 10,000 miners installed at Stronghold, plus the replacements on the T21s that they're supposed to get as well. If all those things happen, we should see sizable growth here for them at that point. The other thing is Riot is still in the picture here, right? Riot still owns almost 20% of the shares. That's a lot on it, and that's always a fear in some investors that, well, they could decide to sell. At that point, that's sell pressure that's going to drive the stock down even further. So I don't know how you mitigate Riot out of the picture or get Riot out of the picture completely. I don't know if that's possible. I know Riot can't sell their shares for a certain amount of time, possibly. So that's at least a good sign there. But yeah, it's just not great optics, I guess you could say. I'm giving them possibly until November. If they don't start producing a lot more hash rate growth here going forward and a lot better, I will definitely be thinking about swapping things out where I may sell all of my position that I have in Bitfarms at that point, because it's just, I could be doing better at other companies like Cleanspark and IREN, which have been doing really well recently. So I'm giving them till basically another month and a half to get their act together with all the hash rate growth that they're supposed to get to. But after that, I will be selling. But if we look at, let me see if I can pull this up here, Bitfarms here. We do know that they are buying Stronghold out as well. That's supposed to happen sometime in the Q1 of 2025. That should give them more growth into next year as well, which they already are targeting to get to like 35 exahash next year, potentially even more than that, beyond that. So that's really good growth, right? They're targeting 21 exahash this year. Their operations are always really good. Their hash rate has kind of stalled here a little bit in the last couple of months. We saw a little bit of an increase in August and then no increase in September. So we really need to see an update in growth for October. And if they could come out with something that they installed 1 exahash, 1.5, 2 exahash, whatever it is, I think that would be good for investors to see that they are growing and they're doing the right things. They did come out with a video today of one of their sites in I think it was it Paraguay? I think it was Paraguay. Correct me if I'm wrong in there, but I thought it was one of those sites. They did provide that, just a drone flying through the facilities, and those look great, right? But the things that investors are really concerned about is growth, and that's what we really want to see is provide that information for us. But also the BTC HODL has been growing, which is good to see. They're doing a lot of good things here. They've updated their management, or not management, well, they've updated management too. CEO Ben is in there now. They've also made changes to their board. There's a lot of good things happening for them. So I just, for me, I still think that this is like an underdog story here for them. If they can make a compelling argument to investors, I think at that point, right? And then also if Bonta stops selling his shares, if he's out of shares already by now, maybe, I don't know how many shares he has left, but that could also be a catalyst where the stock actually starts to go up in value at that point. But in the meantime, I still think that they are undervalued from where they really should be. We can see here over here based on the numbers from September, I have them between $4 and $6. They're $1.85. I think they should be at least double from where they are right now. For that, I'm still looking to possibly buy more, especially if the price is around this level here. So sometime this week, I may continue to buy some more into them because I do think that they, like I said before, they are undervalued. And it's just like an underdog story, basically. And the reason I'm still bullish on them is because I'm seeing the same type of situation where we saw with Cleanspark, if you guys recall. I'm not saying that they're near to the execution of Cleanspark, but they're growing well, right? They want to be like probably within like the top 5 miners as far as hash rate growth is concerned and all that stuff, which then makes me think we saw this with Cleanspark a little bit in when was that? 2023. If you guys recall, like the summer of 2023, the other miners were going up in value like crazy. Cleanspark, for whatever reason, was still lagging quite behind. It wasn't until like October, I think it was October of 2023, when the stock actually took off like a rocket and it did very well at that point. So I'm still thinking that this might hold true for Bitfarms. But like I said before, if they don't provide good growth here in the next, for October and November, then I'm going to maybe start rethinking my analysis on Bitfarms and thesis, and could they actually get to 21 exahash by the end of the year? But right now, I'm still pretty positive on them. You guys might disagree on that, but I completely understand. The stock hasn't done great compared to the other miners. If we look at them, right, Bitfarms has been coming down here. Other miners like Cleanspark has been going up the last couple of days. They were kind of flat around, but Bitfarms, you can see here, up and then down, and they haven't been going up as much as some of the other miners as well, right? Bitcoin's going up 5%. They're going up 2%, 3%. They were up 5% on Friday of last week, but they were only up 3% on yesterday and Monday, and they were down actually today. So I totally understand where you guys are coming from on this. I'm still willing to give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt here, and we'll see where things go. But like I said, after November, if things aren't improving, I will probably be selling all my shares in Bitfarms and moving it into probably like Cleanspark, IREN as well, and maybe even into like CORZ or something like that. I do have a sizable position there. I have 23,000 plus shares of Bitfarms right now, as it is. So that's just kind of my take on it. You guys obviously can chime in the comments. We'll get into all those, and we'll get into also the questions on what you guys think there as well. Okay, so, and as far as I saw some of you guys comment on here that I was doing clickbait. Well, it's not really clickbait. I can't really put in a lot of information, especially when we're covering a lot of miners, right? So it's kind of like selling Bitfarms. Yes, you could think of it as clickbait, but that's not my intention. It's just selling Bitfarms because of Bonta. I'm trying to keep it within that little window where I can put in the information without having it all be text, and that's it. So that is it on that. Let's take a look at the other stories that we have here on everything else. First one is going to be on Cipher. So Cipher actually had a really good update today about this. So Cipher Mining announces the signing of option agreements to acquire 1.5 gigawatts of data center sites in West and North Texas. So today they announced it has signed an option agreement to acquire the recently announced 3 sites in West and North Texas from Huvo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Huvo Energy. The 3 sites are adjacent to transmission assets and in the final stages of approval for interconnection with 500 megawatt targeted capacity per site. Right, we don't know if we're going to get the full 500 megawatts, but that's kind of what they're planning there. Cipher will be able to exercise the option in the next 24 months to acquire the sites, including 500 acres of land to be either leased or purchased. The ultimate purchase price to exercise the options for the sites will be determined by the number of megawatts actually approved for the interconnection. So depending once they get the final study on this and it gets approved, whatever it might be, at that point, that will determine the price they're going to be paying for it. So that's why it's kind of light on details here today. The 3 sites all have the necessary characteristics for development of HPC data centers or Bitcoin mining operations. So that's good going forward, right? Going forward, this is going to be good for them. But in the next 12 months, it's not going to mean much, really, especially since we believe the Bitcoin rally is going to be here for the next 11, 12 months, roughly, depending on where we're going to end up at. So in this current bull cycle, I don't think it's going to amount for much. But in the next one, they might be able to do really well with this. They can also possibly sell, if they execute on the buys on these, they could possibly sell 1 or 2 or 3 of these sites to maybe hyperscalers, potentially. That's the possibility there as well. So that might actually lead them to have some profits on this, like quick turnarounds, right? Buy it at X amount, sell it for Y amount. So that might be actually pretty good there. And then here's a quote from Tyler Page. We have seen increasing demand from hyperscalers for large sites that can be energized within the next 3 years. By getting involved early in the development timeline and process, we can source valuable sites that most of our competitors cannot, spend less for premium sites, and improve long-term visibility for our supply chain management and construction functions. These new sites give us tremendous optionality on the expansion of our HPC hosting business, said Tyler Page, Cipher CEO. So that's all great there, right? We've been hearing about this hyperscalers and the demand for large sites for the last probably 6 months here or so. We haven't seen anything materialize yet on it. So until we see it, I'm still going to be skeptical about it, right? I would love to have one of these guys, whether it's Cipher, TeraWolf, or IREN, or anybody else, get one of these hyperscalers to possibly, I don't think it's going to be leased. I could be wrong on that, but I think maybe buy out one of these sites. I think that would rewrite the pricing on some of these miners here. So I'm still hopeful on that. And then with the addition of these new sites, Cipher's active portfolio and development pipeline will total 2.5 gigawatts across 10 sites. So that's a sizable portfolio that they have there for them. So this is good. They're going in the right direction by getting these sites now. And possibly they can turn those into HPC sites, sell them to hyperscalers or whatnot, and they're going to make money on it one way or the other on it. So this is great news for Cipher here. And then really quick here, Mara announces access to 200 million line of credit. And all we get is really just 2 sentences here. So Mara today announced that it has secured 200 million of line credit collateralized by a portion of its Bitcoin holdings. Mara may use the funds to capitalize on strategic opportunities for other general corporate purposes. Okay, that's basically it. So they're using their HODL position to collateralize their 200 million line of credit. What will they use that for? We don't know. It's light on details, right? We don't know what the interest rate is on that as well or anything like that, who it's with. Not a lot of details here on this one. So we'll see what they end up using that for, if anything at all. This just gives them a little bit more optionality to do other things as well. And we'll have to see what they do with it all. Okay. But that is basically it on that. And then let's take a quick look at the enterprise metrics here on the miners really quick as well, where we're at it, because things have definitely changed. Prices have gone up on miners, market valuations, enterprise values have changed on these guys here. So we can see that for current hash rate, we can still see that BitDigital now overtook Core here. I didn't update the chart here, but you can see that BitDigital overtook Core on being probably one of the more overvalued here on Bitcoin mining, at least per exahash value. But their HPC business is doing pretty good here. There's some questionable as far as did they overpay for the company that they bought yesterday. Time will tell on that one. And then we can still see that Riot, Iris, Bitfarms, Cleanspark are way undervalued from where they really should be, along with maybe Marathon a little bit as well. But when you look at future hash rate, we can see BitDigital now we're taking BitDeer as well on that one. And then Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Riot, Iris still being way undervalued for the future hash rate growth here going forward. So like I always say, I expect these guys to flip some of these guys here going forward, especially as Bitcoin goes up in value even more at that point. Okay, that's it on that. Let's get into your guys' Q&A side, and I'll give you guys a little bit of time here to ask any questions because I am not going through that whole list of comments there because that's going to take me forever to see if there's any questions or anything like that. So we'll get into your questions now, and I'll give you guys like 15 seconds or something like that to catch up with the questions, to put in new questions if you don't mind. I would appreciate it because there's a lot of comments, and I'm not going to go through the whole stack of them to try to find it all. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going through a couple of these. All right, I'm going to pick the first one that I see here. Okay, BT says, if Bitfarms doesn't reach 14x hash on 1st of November, then I will sell my shares. Excuse me. They keep giving us empty words. Fair enough, yeah. Can't argue with that, actually. Okay, Sour Melon says, I've never seen so many people on Seb stream before. The bull run is here. Yeah, I was surprised by that too. I was really surprised when I opened up my laptop and I put on the stream here and I saw the comments. I'm like, holy cow, this is crazy. So there's obviously a lot of interest in Bitfarms and a lot of disappointment in Bitfarms as well, which is understandable. And that's kind of why I want to just point out some of the good things, some of the bad things that are happening with Bitfarms right now, and then where I stand on it currently. Okay. Let's see. Hank the Tank says Bitfarms efficiency has been greatly improved. Now we need growth. Yep. Okay. Nilovo Cam says Bitfarms will most likely will stay suppressed. Riot will be the cause. If they can't buy them, they will sell their shares. Either way, I could be right on that too, and that's why I said we still have that right overhang there. Let's see. KS, Seb, I missed the first 19 minutes. You sold your Bitfarms? Not yet. I'm giving you a deadline until basically December 1st. If we don't start seeing growth in hash rate, and maybe by that time we'll see some growth in hash rate or in stock price as well, then I'll be okay. But I may actually buy more now because we have a lot of people that are fearful. And I've lived by the motto here, at least the last couple of years, that when there's fear in the markets, that's kind of when you want to be greedy. So I am possibly looking to buy more here this week. Let's see, Dave's Wallet. Seb, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident that Bitfarms is close to the bottom? I mean, looking at the chart, it's already bottomed out, I think. Let me see here if I can pull Bitfarms. There it is. Here's a chart on Bitfarms right here. Right, it's bottomed out right here at the Fibonacci retracement level of 2.36. We were there once, we were there twice, 3 times. I think we have bottomed out here. We might come down on it from where we were, from where we are right now at least, maybe retest that, but I think we're really, really close to the bottom if we haven't already bottomed out on it. But that's just kind of my take on it. We'll see if that actually happens there. Okay. Okay, Bitfarms, why is it lagging? Are you still bullish? I am still bullish on it. The reasons we're lagging right now, we saw Bunta, their prior co-founder, he got kicked off the board, and he's been selling here like every week or something like that. When was it? Where is it at? Here it is. So you can see it over here on the screen. He sold today about 500,000 shares. He sold on the 7th, 600,000 shares. Sold on the 4th, 1 million shares. 24th, sold 400,000 shares. So there's been a lot of selling here just by this guy alone. And then when the algos look at it, they see that selling pressure there, and they're more likely to sell also because of that. So it's just a compounding effect of this, I think. So we'll see if he's done with selling. If that's all the shares he's got and he's done and over with it, I think that might be good. Okay. Mark asks, Seb, Bitfarms undervalued now. What price for Bitfarms and BTC? 100,000, 200,000 respectively. Oh man, if you're looking at, I would say if it gets to 100,000, I would expect it to be at least probably like at least $6 at that point, to maybe like $10. And then if we get to 200,000 Bitcoin, I'm guessing we should probably see Bitfarms around like $20, if not higher. Okay. Let's see. Best miner to buy right now. Best miner. I still think Cleanspark might be the best one out of the bunch here. It's been doing really well here recently in the last couple of days. It's up like almost 25, 30% or something like that. it's been outperforming all the other miners, and that's because they have continued growth and execution. So that's kind of the one I would possibly think of. Hank the Tank says, Seb, does it feel like Bitfarms' bottom? It does feel like it. We might have a little bit more to go down. That's why I'm saying I may buy some more this week if it stays around this level or goes down. Christian says, Seb, Bitfarms' float is now massive. What price target do you expect given all-time high would mean for 4.5 billion market cap? Yeah. If they can get to 21 exahash this year and then relatively quickly to 35 exahash sometime next year, like preferably in the first half, I could see 4.5 billion market cap for them. There would only be a 4x from here. So it's not that much. I still think they could possibly do maybe closer to like 6 or 7x, but time will tell. Yeah, Andre says, hey Seb, Bonta started selling on September 24th and has sold 2.4 million thus far. Someone said he holds 10 million total. Is this true? That I don't know. I would have to look into it as far as what he has. Let's see. Sebastian, did you sell Bitfarms? No, I have not yet. I give them until basically December 1st to get hash rate increased, and we'll have to see if Bonta is still selling. If he's got 10 million shares, then he's still got a ways to sell. That might keep the stock down as well, which wouldn't be good. Let's see. Sarmelin Gaming says, Seb, don't sell Bitfarms. You're going to end up buying the other miners that have already had runs. Bitfarms is going to run. We just need to BTC to break out. I also think the same thing, right? So that's why I'm giving him time before I would actually consider selling. And like I've said before, I think with Bitfarms, the amount of fear that I'm seeing with them is just, how can I put this? It's extraordinary, actually, to see how much the fear we've had here. I was seeing the same kind of fear that we saw with Cleanspark, if you recall, going back to 2023, right? Every other miner was running up in like the summer months, even in prior months. Cleanspark was just like a dog. It was not doing anything. People were bashing on it and everything else. I'm kind of seeing the same thing with Bitfarms right now. So it's like, okay, do I do the same thing I did with Cleanspark at that point, which was to buy more? And I think that's kind of the plan maybe that I will do, is buy more because of the fear that's out there. When there's fear, I want to be greedy because I still believe in the metrics that I have with Bitfarms. So that's kind of leading my path forward for them. Okay. Ian says, smash the like button, smash it, do it, smash that button. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. BitDigital price target for the end of the year. Oh, BitDigital is a tough one for me. Sorry, I had to take a drink here. The reason BitDigital is tough is they're not growing their hash rate anymore this year. They're at 2.4, 2.6, whatever they are, exahash right now. They're concentrating more on the HPC AI business as well. I mean, the business that they bought there is generating, about 10 million in revenue a year right now. That's not much, considering that they paid 44 for whatever it is, million for it. That's going to take about 4 years to break even on it at the current run rate. So that's a tough one for me. If I saw more hash rate growth, I could maybe see where that could go. But with the limited hash rate growth, they're going to get a bit up. But, could they at least follow Bitcoin when Bitcoin goes up 2x? I think so. But can they outperform Bitcoin? That I don't know. Okay. Surendra says Cipher is a silent giant, I think. Maybe. But again, a lot of their growth in hash rate is going to be in next year, like second half into the other, beginning of the second half, I believe. By that time, we might be getting close to the end of the bull run as well. So that's the reason why I'm not in it. Okay. Anyone else thinks Mara is going to land a big AI deal? Fred is one sharp mofo. He is pretty sharp, but they do have their hands in a lot of things here. Could they land that I don't know. I mean, they would have to retrofit one of their facilities that they bought recently. They wouldn't do it with the hosting facilities that they have, that they're hosting in. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Desmarket says, Seb, if you sell in November, you would miss out on 69K. 69K. I think we're going to be at 69K by the end of maybe this week here on Bitcoin. Tank the Tank says, I think Ben will announce growth very soon here, or soon. I would hope so. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, that Bitfarms need to do a much better job with their PR. They need to be in the forefront of what's going on. What are they doing? Did they install 500 petahash? Put that out. You installed 1 exahash, put that out. Anything that could be good for the stock would be beneficial. I don't know why they're sitting on their hands on this stuff. Okay. Question: what exahash Bitfarms should be by end of October in order to achieve 21 exahash by the end of the year? That's, I think, regardless where they could be, I think they should be at least, what are they at now? 10 exahash. Where are they at? I got too many numbers in my head, so I got to double check here. Bitfarms right now is at 11 exahash, 11.3, right? So if they can get to, they're supposed to install 10,000 machines at Stronghold for hosting them, right? So that should be around 2 exahash there. They're also supposed to get the replacements of the T21s. That's about another exahash there. So they should be like around 14 exahash, 14 and a half, somewhere around there by the end of this month, if everything gets shipped to them and, gets installed. So that's kind of where I would expect them to be there. And then November, we should see some more growth, and into December as well to get to 21 exahash by the end of the year. Okay. Mark says, I think Mara is up to something with the line of credit. Should be an exciting end of year. Potentially there, yeah. Hello, can anyone enlighten me here? Who is Bonta? Bonta is the... he was on the board previously. He was also, I believe, the co-founder of Bitfarms there, and he's been kicked out. So he might be holding a little grudge here and selling their shares right now, which is, I believe, pretty stupid because they do have really good growth here going forward. 21 exahash by the end of the year, 35 plus exahash next year. Okay, let's see. Geese, I think one of the reasons why Bitfarms struggles right now is because the USD had skyrocketed against Canadian. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Maybe. Okay. Okay. Christian says we need to do 3 exahash every month from now on. Yeah. And Ben has said that before, that a lot of their growth is going to be in November and December when the Paraguay sites come online. They're going to see a lot of growth there. Okay. Did you say earlier that Bitfarms stock price will go after Bonta sold his shares? So you think it will be green day tomorrow? That I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to be a green day tomorrow, depending where Bitcoin goes. But I also don't know how many more shares Bonta has. If he's sold all his shares, that'd be great. But if he still has more shares to sell, I think it's going to continue to have a downward pressure on Bitfarms here. Okay. Why wouldn't MicroStrategies buy a smaller miner that can produce Bitcoin less than the 40K versus buying it at 70K plus, unless MicroStrategy stops buying until bear market? MicroStrategy just continues to buy regardless of what the price is, actually. And the reason they don't want to do that is because then you have to also replace the machines in time. There's a lot of capital that has to go into it also. And there's usually a window of about 12 to 18 months where the miners have a really good run because Bitcoin's going up in value, and they're producing a lot at that point and making really good profit on that. So I don't know if he wants to get into it. He's found a little glitch, I guess you could say, in the matrix where he's able to do what he does and do it well. Okay. Level Chem says, wait until Riot's selling. Yeah, that could be also another downward pressure there. Okay. What is the best Canadian Bitcoin stock you would invest in after Bitfarms? Probably Hive. Hive would be the second best one there. Okay. What is the average break-even cost of BTC for the miners to be in profit? The data I have is back from Q2 numbers. So we're going to be getting updates for Q3 from the miners, and we'll do that probably in the next 4 to 5 weeks when everybody else reports. So we'll see that. Let's see, HG Tech says Bitfarms in its Paraguay FUD, CEO FUD, Riot FUD, Thermal Paste FUD, Exahash FUD, Bunta FUD. Getting the picture? Yeah, it's a lot of FUD always. Okay. Let's see. This too shall pass as Hive. Yeah, that's the one I said. Let's see. Hard Knock says Riot is a sleeping giant. Just watch. They could be. If they improve their operational uptime to get closer to like 95%, which is what Jason has stated there, then yes. Cleanspark 50 says Cleanspark is king. They have been doing really well. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's why Riot is lagging operational uptime. I think that's the reason why. Okay. BlackBerry is a Canadian stock. I'm surprised that it's still up there. But yeah, oh man, when the smartphones came out, iPhone, Android, they messed up at that point. Roger says, Cleanspark is the safest right now. All the bad news is behind us. IREN is good too, but potential ATM coming. They both will have ATMs, but I think Cleanspark has maybe a little bit of an advantage. They have a large hodl at around 8,000 BTC, and they're growing more than IREN is. So there could be some potential there. But IREN might get an HPCI play, which we don't know about. Okay. I'm guessing you're saying, which miner do you predict will have the highest market cap end of the bull run? I think it'll be between Mara and Cleanspark. I don't know exactly who's going to top out there, depending on how much they grow into 2025, right? Cleanspark's getting to 37, maybe plus that by the end of the year. Marathon's supposed to get to 50 exahash. So if Cleanspark can catch up to them sometime in 2025, maybe surpass them in exahash, maybe that would be enough to have Cleanspark be the highest market cap. But also Marathon has a huge hodl position. Tough to say. Okay. Yosef, do you think we're going to see BTC break 70,000 first or Bitfarms break 2? Oh, man. I'm thinking we might see BTC actually break 70,000 before we see Bitfarms is not too far away, but it's tough. The way it's acting right now, I would say probably on Bitcoin. Okay. Let's see. Christian says, let's look up Bunta Share Squad. Yeah, if you guys can look that up, that'd be great. Okay, Math says, I agree with your assessment. Thank you, Sebastian, for all your work and insight until they get their act together. However, I dub them. Okay, I'm not going to pronounce that. They need to earn the B. Fair enough, yeah. Okay. Sebastian, how can they go from 10 exahash to 21 exahash by year end? How is it possible? The Paraguay site's coming online. They're putting machines into Stronghold facilities as well for hosting. Stronghold's going to be hosting them for them. So that's their growth there. What else? And it's not that unattainable. We've seen miners here get, who did, we had like 6 exahash from somebody. Let's see here. Cleanspark here recently added 5 exahash in September. We had IREN also add a bunch here as well. Where's my chart? I'm looking at my chart. 5 exahash as well in September and August. So it is doable. As long as you have things lined up and things racked and stacked and ready to go and you just energize those things, you could have really good growth. It doesn't take much. 5 exahash is a bit much there. 5 exahash would be 25,000 machines roughly, right? At 200 terahash. So it is doable. Okay. Mark says, I'm actually hoping that Bitfarms doesn't run, and then I can buy Bitfarms in December. I might, if they do, yeah. Jeez, I don't know. What else here? Andy says, I'm still bullish on Bitfarms. Yeah, I'm still bullish on Bitfarms, but we need to see definitely growth from them. Hank says, if Bunta sells all his shares down here, so foolish, he might have sold enough for now to tie him over for a while. Yeah, I mean, if we're in a bull run and Bitfarms actually, if Bitfarms just follows Bitcoin, right, going 2x, 3x, whatever it might be, they're still going to be up much higher from where they are right now. So it is a little bit foolish. Okay. So can they add that many exahash in 3 months? Yes, they can. Okay. Kay says, fears one thing, non-performance is different. Yes, that's why we need to see them growing their hash rate. Let's see, did Bunta sell all his shares or just a bit? That we don't know. He sold about 2.4 million shares here recently within the last, 2-3 weeks? It's been a lot. That's market stat says we need Riot to buy Bunta shares. If they did that, then they would be triggering the poison pill. They can't get above 20%. Hardknock says IREN's lowest cost to mine. Yeah, they have, I think, the lowest cost to mine Bitcoin right now. Okay. Christian Soto says they called 21 exahash when they had 6 months to go. Now they have 3 and are at the same point. What do you think, Seb? Yeah, I talked about that. Right, they had an issue with their T21 machines from Bitmain. Those were supposed to get swapped out. That was like 1.5 exahash. Correct me on that one, I believe. And then also Ben did state that a lot of their growth is going to be in the fourth quarter, right? So October, November, December, mostly November, December, as they build out the facilities in Paraguay there and get those energized. Okay, let's see here. Blinder Krantz says, as of the end of 2023, Bonta still had 8.6 million shares. Okay, so if he sold 2.5 roughly, so he still has about 6 million shares. That could be rough here in the next couple of weeks if he's continuing to sell there. Let's see. And he says, Bitfarms team, especially Ben, has had a good history of being able to execute. They turned the company around when it was settled with debt, and now they're debt-free. Yes, that's another good point there. Okay. Do you think maybe Bonta just mad that the new Bitfarms CEO is doing well, so he sold his shares to make the new CEO look bad? All that, plus he got kicked off the board there, right? Somebody's got maybe an extra grind here a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Do you think Riot will turn things around? Seems like getting better, but thinking of swapping for Cleanspark, I'm down 40%. Gosh, I would like to see them do better for sure. Jason has stated on previous interviews that they should be operating around 95% on average throughout the year on those sites. And that's kind of what we're holding his feet to, is can they actually get to 95%? So each month should be getting better. If it's not getting better, then I don't know if they can pull it off. And I don't know whether it's just a cost of power there at their Corsicana facility. And that might be the reason why they can't get to a full 95%. But time will tell. Okay. Hive or Hut 8, which one to invest? Oh, gosh. Hut 8 is trying to position themselves more into an HPC iPlay plus managed services and hosting. Their Bitcoin mining is a disaster for themselves. For that reason, I'll probably go with Hive here. Okay. Would you consider investing Hut this cycle? I would not. No. Do you think Cleanspark will pass Mara soon, as in stock price or as in market cap? If it happens, I think it would happen possibly in 2025. If they can grow their hash rate more than Marathon can next year. Okay. I covered that one already. Who is more undervalued right now? Riot, Bitfarms, or IREN? I would say Bitfarms, actually. And we can see that on enterprise value on the miners here for forward growth. Yeah, Bitfarms is still number one here. You can see it here. Cleanspark, then Riot, then IREN, potentially. And Cleanspark and Riot are actually tied here right now on it. So that's kind of the way I would look at it. Okay, let's see. Christian says, where'd it go? They need to hire us for marketing. Probably would do maybe a better job there. Yeah. Let's see. The problem is the outstanding shares. I don't think it's the outstanding shares. Yes, you're going to have less of an upside potential with them. But some of the other miners have already 300 some odd million shares. They have 450 million shares right now, I believe. So, I mean, it's not that too far off from some of the other miners as well. Okay, let's see. Cleanspark is going to take over CORZ market cap next month. That would be great. They're not too far off from each other also. Let's see. Riot might announce HPC. They said they're interested. Well, they said they would be interested if they get a similar deal like Core Scientific got with CoreWeave, right? That was a substantial deal there. So if they get something like that, then yes, they would definitely be interested in it, and they would be dumb not to be interested in it. Any of these miners wouldn't be, dumb not to be interested in something like that. Okay. I have 2,500 shares of IREN and want to add more shares. What is your opinion specifically with current price? I think it's a good deal right now. I think it should be valued much higher from where it is. And it's starting to kind of catch a bid up a little bit as well. Okay. Covered that already. Let's see. Okay. Oh, David says, you will miss out on 69,000 from 23 of your 23,000 shares. 69,000 would be the difference from selling Bitfarms from 2 to 5. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It could be actually a lot more if it goes to like 10, depending where Bitcoin goes, if they get their act together. Okay. Let's see, even if Bitfarms 3 to 5x, that's only 10. Buying Cleanspark, IREN, CORZ, Mara is money well invested after selling Bitfarms. Yeah, you could look at it that way too. But right, they're an underdog here. They could also, because they're just so beaten down, they could perform a little bit. Maybe. I'm not saying that it will, but that's the thought process there. Okay. Okay, where are you all watching this from? Country, thank you, USA here. We have people from all over the place. Germany, England. Gosh, I think we had one person from Australia as well. There's all over the place. Okay. Christian says, I thought they announced 21 exahash before the Stronghold acquisition. Yes, they did. So that's why they might actually get a little bit more than that. Okay. Roger says, HUD is so bad they shouldn't even be on Seb's list. If we look at Bitcoin mining, they're pretty bad on that right now. Okay. Okay, Trey, I think I already covered this. Would you consider investing HUD this cycle? I would not, personally. Okay, Karen, Seb, are you selling Bitfarms? I am not. Nope. I am watching it closely, though. I'm giving them till basically the end of November, so we'll have the November updates for them in December early. If they can't increase their hash rate by then, and the stock is doing the same thing it's doing now with Bitcoin going up or something like that, then yeah, I'll probably cut my losses on it. I'm actually in the green right now on it still, but I would, sell the shares, put into something else. Okay. Let's see. Hi Seb, sold Riot today, buying Cleanspark tomorrow. What do you think? I think Cleanspark is like the best miner here right now. So I think that was maybe a good decision there. Riot could also surprise us with having much better uptime. At that point, I think the stock would do much better also. But I think Cleanspark still has more growth forward. Okay. How can Bitfarms grow from 14 exahash to 21 exahash in 2 months, assuming it goes from 14 exahash by the end of October? The Paraguay site is what, 200 megawatts, I think? Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think it's 200 megawatts that they are building out there. So that's kind of where a lot of their growth is going to be happening there. Okay. Talked about that one. Okay. By December, Cleanspark will have a bigger HODL than HUT 8. Yeah, I mean, they're only like less than 1,000 Bitcoin right now away from HUT 8. Hard Knock says, how about 16,000 Riot right now? That's a lot of shares. I'm hoping they turn things around for you. Okay. J. Cole says, as of March 2024, Bonta held 8.4 million shares. So if he sold 2.5 million, we're down to about 5.9 roughly. So he still has quite a bit of shares there. Okay. Trying to catch up with all you guys' comments and questions and see. Okay, Hard Knock says, don't like Bitfarms, but may pick up some if it dips. Okay. Okay, got the Bonta shares here. What was the most shorted miner here? That's something I have to do an update on that still. So we'll do that later on this week as well. We'll look at that. Let's see, Cleanspark has just hit 30 exahash based on Matt's X post. Yeah, they hit that Friday last week, I think it was. Okay, covered that one already. Okay, hold on. Getting close to the end here, I think. Okay, here we go. Who will be the first 2 miners to mine more coins in a month post-halving since March, which was last year pre-halving? Oh, man. Who's going to be mining more? Let me see if I have that someplace. We could take a look at it here. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be like BitD or BitDigital for sure. Bitfarms might. Let's take a look at this really quick. Let's see. BTC mined here. So in March, they were 286 or 217 here. If they go to 21 exahash and beyond that, they might be able to pull that off. Okay, so that's one. Cipher here has been in March 277. They're at 135. They would need a lot of hash rate growth to have that happen. So that's kind of questionable there. Cleanspark was at 806 or 493. They need to also install a bunch of hash rate here, but they've been installing, as you can see here, a lot of hash rate. But they would need to almost, like, I think, triple or quadruple from where they were in like January and maybe February as well in order to do that, because the network hash rate continues to go up, making it less, meaning you're buying less and less unless you're actually growing your hash rate. CORZ Scientific, they would have a hard time there as well. They were at 906, they're at 345. That'd be tough for them. IREN, I think is going to be able to do it. IREN, see, March was 353. They're at 347 here in September. So if they continue their growth to 30 exahash, they will do it definitely. And then you can see where their hash rate was prior to that. Marathon, oh man. Marathon might be able to do it only because their operations were kind of crappy there after the December numbers. I mean, you can see in January their numbers were way down already as it is. And they just continued through March here. So they might be able to do that. Riot also might be able to do it, I think, because their numbers were pretty low at that point as well because their operations, but they've installed a bunch of hash rate here. If they can get much better uptime, that would definitely help, but I think they can do it also. And then TeraWolf, I find it highly unlikely for them to do it as well. They were 290, they're 140 now. Not much hash rate growth there on that one. Okay, so those are the ones that might be able to do it. Okay, just the 2 million or some other selling pressure earlier. Excuse me. I think it's a combination of him selling, and I think also it's the algorithms, right? The algorithms are picking that up. They're scouring the SEC filings. They're doing all that stuff. They're looking at those types of things. Are management buying or are they selling? If they're selling, that's going to put possibly sell pressure on it as well. Why is Bonta selling? That's odd. He believes in his company. Well, I don't think he's there anymore. He's not on the board. He doesn't have a role at the company anymore. I think he's out pretty much. What else we got here? Talked about that. Okay. Sarman says, at this rate, my kids will inherit my Bitfarms shares. I ain't selling. Love it. Let's see. The good miners are better proxies than MicroStrategy. I believe so, and a lot of people also believe that as well. J. Cole says, Hard Knocks stocks performance says, yes. Recent stock performance, like the last couple months, 6, 9 months, yes, the MicroStrategy has outperformed the miners. But once we get into the bull run here, I would expect the miners to outperform MicroStrategy. Okay. Harris asks, what is the reason for Riot starting off really good in the morning and then the gains just fade through the day? Profit taking, I mean, it's up quite nicely in the last couple of days. That could be it. Okay. Would you be happy if Riot offers to buy Bitfarms at $3? No, I think that's still a low ball offer there. David says, this is exactly why I split my portfolio into 5 miners. If one, like Bitfarms, doesn't do well, I still have 4 others that are carrying my bags. And that's the same way I've done it, right? I've got Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, CORZ as well. And then I also just Bitcoin in there as well. Okay. Derry, I think I already answered your question. Would you consider investing how to eat the cycle? I would not, but that's just me personally. Let's see. M says, I'm willing to help Bitfarms set up their machines. Come on, guys. Get your crap together. Yeah. Okay. Sebastian, why don't you get Ben on live, but ask hard questions? I think it's crucial time now for them to talk, or else most will sell and rotate to IREN Cleanspark. I agree with you there. I may reach out to him tomorrow and see if he's open to maybe doing like a Twitter Spaces or X Spaces, where I think we can ask him the tough questions, like what's going on there? How far away are they from getting to this and that? So I will think about that. I may do that actually. Get him on like a Friday stream just for maybe half an hour to an hour at most, just to take some of the questions. Okay. Checkered Future says, Bonta's probably just diversifying. What's the worst realistic case for Bitfarms? How does its enterprise value to debt ratio compare to other miners? It's only like 15 million in debt. Yeah, it's really, balance sheet is really healthy right now. Everything else is really good. The only things that we have right now is the lack of growth that we're hoping to have, and Riot still being kind of on our coattails a little bit. Let's see, Cleanspark 30 by the end of February 2025. Geez, I think if Bitcoin starts going like where I think it's going, we might be at 30 by the end of November, December. Expect a Trump win and Bitcoin to rocket. Kamala has Dove in the polls. Since she started doing interviews, they've been absolutely terrible. Who was it? Fink, Larry Fink from BlackRock. He said the same thing that I'm saying. It does not matter who the president is. Bitcoin's going to do its thing. Okay, Mark says Riot offer for 230 shares and looking too bad today. LOA, just kidding. Well, I think I read that one. Oh, what else we got here? What is Bitfarms' Bitcoin cost for production at the end of Q2? Was higher. They also had an older fleet. They rotated a lot of their older fleet. Where's my break-even numbers for the quarter for Q2? Let me see here. Bitfarms, I had break-even. Where is it at? They were kind of high at that point. They were at 61,000 at that point in Q2. That's the estimated number. It's not an exact number, but just an estimated number around 61,000 for them at that point. But they've definitely decreased their joules per terahash on the machines. They should be lower than that. I'm guessing. I'm not even going to guess right now. I want to see the Q3 numbers for them before I make that guess on where they are right now. Okay, let's go back here. Par says, I think we actually need him to sell those shares. ASAP, you're talking about bond tether, I believe. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Bitfarms should take a buyout at 3 if Riot offers it. Yeah, I don't think they will. I don't think they would. I think they know they're more valued more, especially if Bitcoin goes up to 100, 150,000. Above that, maybe. Okay, how many exahash will Paraguay add to Bitfarms when installed? I was going to do the math on it. What is it? 200 megawatts. That's going to be, what's that going to be? I have to do the math on it, but I'm guessing it's going to be 45 exahash, I think. Okay. What else we got here? Let's see, this too shall pass. Says Hive is a clean company, no show-off styles. Yeah, I mean, they're a great company. They just don't want to be like in the top 5 miners. They're happy with 1% of the network hash rate. Okay. Imagine Bonta actually sold his stock for some stupid reason like buying a house, not because he thinks Bitfarms will go down. Yeah, you never know. I think he's just, a little mad about being kicked off the board maybe and losing his company there. Okay, let's see here. Seb, you might need to have a timer for Q&A once the bull run really gets going so you don't get stuck answering questions for 3 hours. What are we going on right now? Now we're going on about an hour, so it's not too bad. Almost caught up with all you guys' questions anyways. Okay. How much longer do you think it will be before Cleanspark completes its recent offerings? Its recent offerings. What offerings are those? I gotta take a sip of my throat's starting to get dry. Okay. Hard Knock says, I think Bitcoin hit 70,000 by the end of the week. I could see that happening also. I mean, we came pretty close to it today as it was. Singapore. Okay, you guys talking about where you guys are from. Okay, talk about that. Okay, Cleanspark or IREN, which one is more undervalued and also safer to invest? I think Cleanspark is right now. Okay, I'm hoping Mara doubles or triples by December with Bitcoin flying to 100,000 figures crossed. If Bitfarms stays down, I'll buy it and let it run up double, triple. Let's see, with Marathon double or triple, I would think it would at least triple. I would think. Okay, yeah, I saw that also. Tesla has moved some of their BTC to a new wallet. Is that bullish or bearish? I'm not sure why they're moving that to a new wallet. Are they going to be maybe getting a loan on it? I don't know what's going on there. Are they ready to sell it? It could be also that. Would you sell Mara for Cleanspark? I probably would, actually. Just because of Cleanspark's operations, execution, all that stuff. I probably would. Okay. Let's see. Secretly hoping Bitfarms stays suppressed while Mara runs. That would be an amazing Christmas present. Are you guys also shorting Bitfarms? Maybe are we having a lot of shorts on Bitfarms? We'll have to take a look at that. Okay. Hey Sebastian, if Bitcoin hits 100,000, which miner would benefit the most? I think honestly, like Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms right now is a little bit questionable for me, so maybe Marathon as well on top of it, and then Riot if they can fix their operations uptime more so, possibly by then. Roger asks, $80 IREN still in place, 70 for Cleanspark. Yes, but we need Bitcoin to be above 150,000 at that point. Okay. Okay. Seb, why do you feel pessimistic about Bitfarms today? Do you feel like that before the Bonta selling news? No, it's just a realization of what's going on in the markets. Bitcoin's going up, other miners are going up, much better than Bitfarms. So it's kind of like, what's happening with them? What is the reasons behind it? Is it just that they're not growing their hash rate like people are expecting? I'm also seeing a lot of just fear and sentiment in Bitfarms being down in the dumps right now. So it's kind of that type of thing. So is it people are also selling Bitfarms that's causing it to go down even more as well? They don't believe in the narrative of what they're going to do going forward. So that's kind of got me thinking a little bit, okay, I'll give them a little bit more time. I'm still bullish on them, but I'm willing to give them a little bit more time here to provide some better growth updates, I guess you could say, than what we've seen here in the past at least. So if I wasn't still bullish on them, I wouldn't even do that. I would just be like, I'm done with this. This is crazy. But it's the same thing with Cleanspark in the past as well, where everybody was done on the dump side Cleanspark because it wasn't performing like they expected it compared to other miners. But then you had that one day where it just kind of woke up and outperformed everybody. So I'm not saying it's going to happen the same thing with Bitfarms, but I would expect it to at least go up more than it has been here, at least recently. What price does Bitcoin have to be for Hut 8 to be over 30? That I don't know. I mean, if you look at Hut 8 here really quick, let me pull that up really quick. Hut 8 right now, their HODL is like 40% of their market cap right now. It's just wild. I'd say actually even more now. 52% of the market cap is their HODL position right now. So this tells me that they're not really being valued on their operations for Bitcoin mining, which are, for the self Bitcoin mining, are poor as it is. But then they're also not really, I mean, the rest is being valued on managed services, hosting, those types of things. How much of that is HPC AI? Hard to tell right now. But yeah, I don't know where that one could go. But I think with Bitcoin going up, it will rise. Will lift all boats, as they say, at that time. Okay, what else here? Emma says, that's a good idea. Ben should help out investors in the hard times. Please reach out to him and let us know. Okay. Yeah, I may do that. If he's got time, right? I'll have to ask him if he's got time and willing to do that. So that would definitely be nice of him if he could do that. Okay, let's see. Mara can use a 20 million line of credit to pay off Q2 losses. They shouldn't have losses. They're going to have, based on the FSB, they're going to have some gains on it. But how much do they have on the other side of things for depreciation, compensation, all that stuff could be the difference there. What would be a catalyst for Wolf to reach July's high 2024 year? They would need to get a HPC customer that's substantial there. But we need to see that happening. Why is it titled Selling Bitfarms, You Cheeky Booger? It's only because I have so much space to put in there. And also it was basically to Bonta has been selling Bitfarms there. So that's kind of the reason I came up with the title there. Okay. James says, I have swapped CORZ into IREN in the past few days. I'm now thinking to swap some IREN from profit into Bitfarms. What's your take? Bitfarms, I think, is a little bit more risky. IREN, I think, is a little bit safer bet along with Cleanspark. But Bitfarms right now, with them having still Riot on their coattails and Bonta still possibly having a couple more million shares to sell, that's tough, right? So if you're going to do that, possibly dollar cost average into it. Hey, so do you think IREN will mine 400 Bitcoin in October since they will have the whole month running at 21 exahash? Let's take a look at that. Let's see, where's IREN? Here's IREN. So they were 347 at that point, and if they are running at 21 exahash here for the full month, it might be possible. It might be close to that. It all depends on where the network hash rate growth happens, how much we get growth in that alone. That's going to also contribute to a decrease, right? But if they have a nice growth here, and if they actually install more machines here in October as well, that could benefit them as well. So it might be possible. Okay, let's see. Also, do you think IREN will grow exahash in October, and do they have more? Yeah, they're supposed to have machines being delivered here in October through basically December, I believe, to get to 31 exahash. So they can grow, 1, 2 exahash, whatever it might be, a month here in October, and then another couple of exahash in November and December. That would be great. Okay. Harris asks, should I dollar cost average into Riot or buy some other miners? So if you're going to be buying into Riot, you're buying into the narrative that they can get to 95% uptime on average throughout the year. If you believe that, then I would say, okay, go ahead and do that. I'm one of those guys that's trust but verify, and right now we haven't seen it yet. So we need to see that happen, I think, before I would get into them. Okay. Looking at Bitfarms' last cycle performance, it seems like Bitfarms didn't perform well until October 20th. Okay. A couple of days away from that, so maybe next week. Let's see. Mikiko, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I guess needs to hire marketing strategists to gain more institutional investors. You're talking about Bitfarms there. Talking about Jenny. Yeah, okay. Hank says, night Sebastian, night all. Thanks for the great show. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Hank. Have a great night, buddy. Okay. Will Cleanspark reach to 40 exahash by December? They could. They possibly could. And the reason I say that is because they have machines coming in with deliveries getting to 50 exahash, but they got to have the sites ready and everything else to get to that. They already stated they're getting the 37 plus. So by December, I'm thinking maybe by the end of December, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be before December. Okay, do you like BitDigital? I like BitDigital, but there's a but. There's always a but. Their hash rate growth for the self-mining has pretty much stopped here, right? They were originally talking about getting to 6 exahash by the end of the year. That's gone out the window. They're focusing more on HPC AI play, and I don't know how much that is going to be beneficial to them in the bull market for Bitcoin. So they would need to have much more customers. They bought the one company out here yesterday. That I think that was good, but will they outperform the miners in the bull rally? That I don't know. That's why I'm kind of skeptical on that part. Let's see. Do you think Riot can reach 12 to 14 this month? One, to reduce my losses, to reduce my losses and get out of this one. Geez, where are they at right now? They're around 9, I think, right? Riot, 8, yeah, 877, 12 to 14 this month. That might be a little tough. We would need probably Bitcoin to get to 70, probably like 80,000, 85,000 in order for that to happen. Maybe. I'm not saying it's out of the question, but it might be a little tough for them to do that. Okay. Soaring poopy, I guess we'll call it that. The 200 million line of credit for Mara backed by Bitcoin holdings is positive for liquidity and strategic growth without diluting shares. Yeah, that's a good way to go about it. Yeah. Okay. True Rebel Production Super Chat, $5. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Should I put all my gains from other miners into Bitfarms? No, don't do that. It's more risky. Don't do that. Okay. Let's see. Mara had 200 million in losses in Q2. Will be a little less in Q3. Yes, it will be. Bitcoin was actually up in price from Q2 to Q3. That should benefit them with the FSB rules. Seb, can you remove the Q&A into title? We know you are doing Q&A every stream, and put Bonta selling shares instead. Let me see here. Let me see if I can do that right now. Let's see. Okay. Bonta. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right. Selling. I don't know if it's going to all fit. Shares. There we go. You got it, my friend. It's in there. Okay. Who sold 500,000 shares? That was Mr. Bonta selling shares there today, and he's been selling like 2.5 million shares over the last 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Omar says, hey, Seb, if you can Google right now, Farsight Investors USBTC ETF flow, you will see the total amount of money that has been flowed into BTC from inception. Calculates daily flows, outflows automatically. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Another way to look at it is Bonta has 8 billion and sold 25% of his shares. Excuse me. He's betting on Bitfarms doing well because he still has 75% shares of Bitfarms. If not, he wouldn't have sold. He would have sold 100. Well, we don't know. He's been selling like every every couple of days, every week or so, last 2 or 3 weeks. So is that going to be a continuation on it? Maybe he has something in there where he can't sell everything all at once. I don't know. But yeah, if he holds on to the rest, then okay, that might not be that bad of a deal. Okay. For adding more, which miners are good as of now? I still think, like I said before, Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms for me is still, I think, there. But then you want to look at maybe Marathon, Riot, Cipher, and TeraWolf are more plays on possibilities of having HPCI play there. More so on TeraWolf than on Cipher. Cipher is going to have some growth, but it's going to be on later part of 2025. How much longer do you think it will take Cleanspark to complete its 800 million offering from March? That I don't know. That's a tough one. We don't see the numbers on that. We'll see how many shares they sold here from Q2 to Q3. For us, for them, it's going to be Q3 to Q4, which means they're going to be doing the fiscal year-end numbers for us, which will take usually like 2 weeks longer to get that numbers out from them at least, because it has to be audited numbers at that point. Okay. Sana says, so if the ex-board member is selling and the ex-CEO, why are people scared? Because it's, insiders selling basically. And then you also have the algorithms that follow those types of things to look for those things. If, insiders are selling, they start selling as well. Should we break 70,000 this week? What are your thoughts for the end of the month? BTC price, I think if things go well, we might be like 75, 80,000 by the end of the month. Let's see. Mark says, Gary, the 200 million loss was from depreciating of Bitcoin, not operations. Geez, what a hater. They don't have huge losses all year. LOL, haters gonna hate. Yeah, you have to take everything into context. And I always like to look at the numbers for cash, right? A lot of the stuff that we talk about here is non-cash based. It's based on compensation is non-cash, depreciation is non-cash. Just looking at all this stuff here. Okay, let's see. Has the 12-month forecast changed for Bitfarms, or is the thesis still intact and we just need to be patient, or should we maybe sell our shares to buy and Cleanspark? Well, that's the thing that I'm kind of battling here with right now, right? I think the 12-month forecast should be the same if we start getting better updates from them, I believe. And then the overhang on Riot, I just don't know how much of an impact that has. And then also Bonta here selling 2.5 million shares in the last 2 to 3 weeks doesn't help either. So we need those things kind of worked out. Just seems like one thing after another is just like knocking Bitfarms down for some reason. Would love to see that stop. But yeah, that's it. All right. I'm all caught up with all you guys' questions, comments, and things like that. Oh my gosh. I can't thank you guys enough for coming in here. 313 of you guys still watching right now. I think this is the most we've had in a long time. So I greatly appreciate you guys coming in here, chatting, and asking questions. And we'll see what tomorrow brings us. I still think we might need a little bit of a pullback on Bitcoin, just a little one, not a big one, a couple percentage points just to bring down the heat in Bitcoin a little bit so we can have a rally going up some more. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know when that's going to happen, whether it's going to happen tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, but I'd like to see something like that happen where we have a little bit of a pullback. I think that would be healthy. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow on any of the miners. I will reach out to Ben at Bitfarms to see if he's open to doing a X Spaces just for like a half an hour or something like that, just to get the word out. What are they doing? Where are they at right now? All that stuff. All right. So I hope you guys have a great night. Have a wonderful remaining weekend or week that's left for us. We got 3 more days throughout the week, and then we're back into the weekend. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again. I'll see you.